fraud online this festive season. Online shopping is fast gaining popularity, as you know, and because of the convenience to consumers. But the downside is that criminals, too, find a convenient way to make easy money from unsuspecting shoppers. Let's talk more about this and bring in the National Consumer Commission spokesperson, Phetho Ntaba, to give us some tips and some advice on how consumers can stay safe and avoid online scamming. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Good afternoon, Blaine. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity.
No, thank you for taking the opportunity. I want to talk about something called phishing first. The fraudulent practice of sending emails purporting to be from reputable companies in order to induce individuals to reveal personal information such as passwords and credit card numbers. And these criminals, Phetho, they can piggyback on any trend that is occurring, isn't it? Like lockdowns and COVID-19.
Most definitely. We have actually experienced that as the National Consumer Commission on our side, whereby some criminals were actually sending emails to consumers, even some martinis that we are dealing with when we take matters to the tribunal, to say, open this link, this is your reference number and all that. We always say to consumers, make sure that you check before you open that. You know who you normally communicate with from a particular institution, either from a bank or whatever. And if you're not sure, call that bank before you open in that, because the minute you punch in your details, you might have given away your information. You might as well, forget about your bank account. They might clean it. So it is happening. There's also something quickly that they call it cyber squatting, whereby scammers, again, they masquerade as if it's a reputable online shopping or online website.
Yeah.
Make sure that you familiarize yourself with colors of that particular website, the name of the website. They are normally red flags. If, for example, it's .co.za, if they are masquerading as that legitimate business, they might come and say .com or .net, something like that. So you really need to be alert. You need to be sure that you are dealing with a legitimate business here. For example, like you said, Blaine, that we saw e-commerce, it's gaining momentum. People are adjusting to e-commerce. So the easiest thing for consumers, for example, is to just to ensure that you have recourse as per the CPA.
Right.
You are sure that you are dealing with an existing business. Check the address.
Right.
Spend time to determine whether you are dealing with a legitimate business.
Are you finding that some of these big brands are often being impersonated when it comes to phishing scams? How sophisticated are these criminals getting?
They get what they call cyber squatting. At times they will say a certain retailer is giving away vouchers to the value of 2,500 rands. All these scammers want to do, they really want your information more than what they promise that particular store is giving away. So the minute you get interested, they lure you to something that they know that you are desperate for. You want cash, you want groceries, you want vouchers. So they will definitely use reputable businesses,
yeah,
online businesses, even brick and mortar, just to lure you that you give them your information, and you are not aware that you're actually giving them your information.
Phetho, the web has grown organically through the decades. It's making it increasingly difficult for everyday consumer to pick out a genuine email from a fake one. For data production authorities, being aware of these scams, these phishing scams, for instance, is one thing. But what about authorities? What are authorities doing about it?
Look, we always say to consumers, if you are transacting with, I'll start from there. If you are transacting with a legitimate business and something goes wrong, then fortunately you have recourse as contemplated in the CPA, that you need to have your receipt. Then we'll take steps as the commission. However, if you are dealing with scammers, it's a bit difficult. You'll literally be running around and chasing these guys. You might not find them. Yes, the police are on board. Yes, we're working with other institutions like your SARS, your FIC, and everybody else. However, we always say to consumers, your first line of defense is to know that you are dealing with a legitimate business. Yeah. If you are not sure, always ask somebody else. If you are not sure, just delete that email. Right. You know who you normally deal with from a particular institution. It's very difficult to chase a scammer because unfortunately they get smarter every day. They spend time doing their research, trying to check what is it that people are busy with. So the minute you open your laptop, you go to your website, you get a message. Once you follow that message, they take your information.
So yeah, let's just talk about. Let's just talk about. Sorry to cut you off. Let's talk about that window period for reversing a cyber scam. How quick are criminals getting in terms of the turnaround time for using your credentials, your credit card details, etc.? Does it often happen in real time?
It's unfortunately it's not easy to tell, but you've got banks, for example, they will notify you if something it's happening within your bank account, some activity that is unlawful, if I can put it that way. And if you're also aware of where you are, what you are doing at that particular moment, the minute you get a notification that this is what is happening, you quickly call your bank, and tell them to block your account, your account, or just to be sure that you are safe. However, you will find other scammers actually working while we are sleeping. When you wake up, your bank account is clean. So banks are also always working around the clock. I'm not speaking on their behalf, unfortunately, but they're trying to work around the clock to ensure that they send you those safety tips, how to transact online, how to use a cell phone banking, and what information to give out and what not information to give out. So consumers, it's entirely up to them to ensure that they stick to that. You become careful. You hold on to your banking details. You hold on to your cell phone. You hold on to every detail that is personal, that might compromise your safety and that of your bank account.
And we also need to be mindful of the type of information that we share on social media platforms, isn't it? Because this can also make you vulnerable to fraudsters.
Most definitely. Things, we'll hear people warning us about things like where you are checking in, the type of pictures you post on social networks, the type of the car you are driving, and the messages that are posted or pasted on your car. They actually give away or they tell criminals where your whereabouts, and it is for them to strike at any particular moment. So consumers are urged to be careful at this time. We are. It's COVID-19, the second wave. People are scared to go out and shop. So obviously we are trying online. Others are not used to online shopping. So try by all means to be careful.
So I guess the advice is when you're visiting a website, look at the address bar in detail and I guess satisfy yourself that the connection is secure. Do not click on links wherever possible if you don't trust it. And open up your web browser and I think enter these addresses yourself manually to make sure that you are going to the right site, correct?
Correct. And also, if you are going to transact with an online store, probably for the first time, you might find something very interesting. We know it's festive season, we're buying sneakers and all that. You might find something cheaper on a particular website. At the back of your mind, just remember that you might be transacting with a website or a store masquerading as a legitimate business. Go to the reviews. Hello, Peter. Punch the name of that business and check reviews. People always complain about certain businesses, or they'll come and say they are masquerading as a particular business, whereas they are not a business. If it's a business, something goes wrong, you will have recourse as per the CPA. Unfortunately, if you are dealing with a person, you bought something from, you try to buy something from social networks, then it's a bit tricky. You are dealing with a person. Unfortunately, the Consumer Commission will have to refer you to the Small Claims Court.
Sound advice indeed. National Consumer Commission spokesperson Phetho Ntaba, thank you very much indeed for your time. Be well.
Thank you.